I needed to go poop. Y'all said no, that it was time for me to push. Y'all decided not to let me go poop. So now y'all gotta smell all this poop. That's not my problem. That's your problem. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Ash Nikki, and I'm back with another video. So today I want to give a really big shout out to Samone. She is a new YouTuber. She has her second video up, and yeah, she's a really good storyteller. And if you guys would like to go check her out, I will link her channel description. Her channel in the description. I'm sorry, I just got freaked out. I heard something. Don't quote me though. Let me try to do this fast. So as promised, today's video is my labor and delivery video. This video might be a little shorter, or maybe, I'm lying, maybe more like than a little shorter than my pregnancy video, because my pregnancy, was a whole 9 months. My labor and delivery was in a matter of 19 hours, so it wasn't a matter of a day. But still, a video is a video, and as promised, I'm gonna make this video. So if you didn't watch my last video, this video might not make sense, but I will incorporate some details from the video. But if you didn't watch my last video, go watch it. It's called My Pregnancy at 21, I believe. So go watch that video and then come back here and watch this one. But anyways, let me start off. So as I left off in the other video, I was in labor while I was working, and I noticed that I started bleeding after I went to use the restroom. And I hurried up and I called my boss. My boss told me to call the district manager, and after that, she told me to go. I left and I drove home in labor while having contractions. So all in all, I was at work in labor from 4 to 6. So from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, I was in labor, but I was not, having it. I was like, I'm not in labor, I'm just contracting. Because as in my other video, as I said in my other video, I had contractions, since I was 7.5 months. So, I get to my house, and my fiance didn't believe me until he's seen that I passed my mucus plug or whatever. And, I tell him, because I was wearing a dress to work. It was New Year's Day, so I wore a nice little black dress, my little bump. What else did I wear? I wore my black dress, I think with my gray cardigan, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and my thigh-high boots. So I was just blacked out. So I told him to get me an outfit because I was not going to go into labor like that. Like, everything was super tight on me too, because, I was pregnant. So that dress that I had was a dress that I had, for my normal size. So I just squeezed it on. I was like, I'm putting this on and I do not care. Anyways, I told him to go get me an outfit. So he gets me an outfit. So I quickly changed down here. I'm in the living room right now, by the way. I quickly changed down here, and as I stated in the other video, I kept calling my mom because I wanted my mom to take me to the hospital, because if I called the ambulance, they were going to take me to a hospital that I did not want to go to. And so I kept calling her and rushing her. Tell me why the woman took a whole hour to get here. A whole entire hour to get here. So I'm in labor. I could have had my son in my living room because she took a whole entire hour to get here. So as I'm waiting for her to get here, I'm just on the couch, trying to breathe through them or whatever. And then out of nowhere, I got the urge to throw up. So I told my fiance, I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And he's like, you're not going to throw up. Like, chill out. And I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. And he's like, no, you're fine. Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. And he's, rubbing my back and holding me or whatever. And then I just told him, I was like, move. Yo, when I tell you, I threw up all over my living room floor. I threw up so much. It was so much that I threw up. And then my fiance looked at me like, you just threw up on the floor. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I warned you. I didn't have time to run to the bathroom. I'm in labor. Who's going to run in labor? Like, I can't do that. So, what do you expect? It's just going to come out, so it's going to come out on the floor. Unless you want to come out on the couch, then you just let me know. So he was upset because he had to clean it up. And I told him I would clean it up. But he was like, nah, I'm going to clean it up. So I was like, okay, whatever. So my mom finally gets here. So she's like, I'm outside. I'm like, okay, I'm coming down right now. So me and Alan quickly grab my hospital bag. You know, we get everything together and we just walk out the door. So as I'm walking out the door, my mom runs out the car to come help me, you know, walk down the steps or whatever. And then I realize that my dad's in the car with her. And I'm like, hi. So she takes the highway to get to the hospital or whatever, and I'm just sitting there in contractions like a mole. So I'm just like, oh my God, I'm in the back, and I'm like, and it came to a point in time when they actually stopped for a little tiny bit, but then they just came back, and they came back harder. So I was like, damn it. So I was sitting there just trying to breathe through it. So my hospital is in the city, and in the city, they're very strict with parking. So you could, like, you gotta pay for parking. So it's like you'll pay like an hour, $1 for an hour, or $2 for two, you know, stuff like that. So many times that I've been to the hospital, my mom got tickets up the butt because, you know, we were there for hours and hours and hours, and like she'll want to stay in when the doctor's coming in, or when the doctor comes in, it's when she's supposed to go outside to put money in the meter, but she doesn't want to leave because she wants to hear what the doctor said, you know, stuff like that. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, maybe she brought my dad so my dad could take the car back home, because, you know, all the stuff that she's been through with the city already. So I'm like, okay. So we get there, and when I tell you, it is the longest wait of my damn life, because it was so long to get into a room myself. Like, I went in and they quickly sent me to labor and delivery, right? So I get there, and then first of all, there's nobody at the receptionist desk, and I'm just sitting there like, if y'all work in a labor and delivery like area, why are y'all not at the receptionist desk? Like, somebody's not gonna come in. Like, yes, I get it, not many times people come in, but hello, that was the day that somebody came in, and y'all just sitting out back there just chatting it up, laughing it up, and I'm just sitting here like, these bitches don't come, I gotta start screaming, I would start breaking stuff, da. And I'm just sitting there dying out of pain, like, I'm in so much freaking pain. So then somebody finally comes in, and she's like, what can I help you with today? And I'm looking at her like, do you not see my face? Like, I am in labor, you're talking, what can I help you with today? I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to get admitted and get in. Like, I'm not here to give you an explanation and all that shit. So my fiance starts talking for me because I just couldn't get it out. Nope, I cannot get it out. So my fiance starts talking for me. He's like, okay, how many weeks is she in? And he was like, 38 weeks or whatever. And she was like, okay, well, we'll take you to the back, blah, 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 blah. I get to the back. And they quickly, you know, have me gown up or whatever, and they quickly put the straps on me, and they're monitoring the baby. The baby's heartbeat is perfectly fine, but I'm sitting there in dreadful pain. I am dying, and I kept screaming, saying that I wanted the epidural, which is one thing that my whole entire pregnancy, I kept saying that I wanted to go natural and not get the epidural until I actually felt those damn contractions. Girl, when I felt those damn contractions, I was like, nope, I want the epidural. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm gonna die trying to give birth to this boy. So, I told the nurse, I was like, is there any way that y'all can give me an epidural or pain medication or whatever? She's like, well, we gotta check you before we give you an epidural, because we don't want to give you an epidural and you're not going into labor. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Hurry up then. Like, please, just hurry up. So the doctor comes in, and she goes, oh, that's another thing. I was still throwing up at the hospital. So when the doctor came in, I was in the middle of throwing up. So I'm throwing up or whatever in them blue little cup bags. I don't know what they called, but I was throwing up in that. And, you know, once I finish, I lay back down, and she comes and she checks me or whatever. And she's like, okay, you're 7.5 centimeters open, so you're in labor. And I was like, I could have told you that. Like, no, in all seriousness, I was like, oh my God, like, I am 7.5. I went from 5.5 to 7.5 in a matter of a day. Because my midwife did the memory speak. Remember? I never remember the date of that I figured it out when I was editing and I put it in the video. So my midwife did the membrane sweep, and in a matter of a day, I was open centimeters. So she's like, okay, you're definitely in labor. So she quickly, transferred me to an actual labor room. And I'm just sitting there in pain and agony, like I'm dying. I'm just dying out of pain. I've never felt pain like that before. So I'm like, no, oh my God. And I'm in the middle of tears, and I'm like, oh my God. So they finally came in, and they was like, so do you want an epidural? I was like, I've been asking for the epidural since I walked in through this door. Like, where is it? So my mom and dad finally come in. And to begin with, the hospital only let 2 people in, but for some reason that day, they let my dad stay. Yeah, they let my dad stay for my labor. We'll get into that. But my mom and dad come in with my fiance. Well, my fiance was already there. So they come in, they sit down or whatever, and then the anesthesiologist comes in and they escort my family out because, it's a sterile area, sterile procedure, so they had to escort them out. So they escort them out, and I'm sitting there dying in pain. And I remember I'm holding the nurse's hand while, they're poking my back or whatever. And it didn't hurt as much as I expected it to hurt because, seeing the needle in videos and seeing pictures of the needle's huge and it's going in your spine. Who's not going to be terrified? But it actually didn't hurt. I mean, maybe because the contraction pain was canceling out the pain of what was going on in my back. But it didn't hurt as much as I anticipated it to. So I'm holding her or whatever. And the only thing that was bothering me was the only way I was able to control the pain from the contractions was if I was rocking back and forth. So I had to rock back and forth. And then the fact that you cannot move at all, not even 1 centimeter when they're poking your back, it was killing me because I kept getting contractions after contractions after contractions, and they were freaking poking me in the back. I'm like, I'm sitting there trying. So they finally get it in or whatever, and they tell me to lay down. And they're like, okay, do you feel like a tingly feeling? Are you cold? I'm like, no, I'm fine. So, like, I say about 10 minutes go by, and the anesthesiologist comes back to check in. And he's like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, I'm still in so much pain. And he was like, are your legs tingling at all? So my legs were tingly, but they weren't tingly to the point where it was like they were super numb. Like, I was able to move them. And I'm like, they feel a little tingly, but I feel every contraction that's coming. And he's like, let's give it 15 more minutes and see how it goes. He come back in, 15 more minutes, still feel everything. So I'm dying in that room with my fiance, my mom, and my dad, in pain, with an epidural in my back that's not working. So he comes back in and he asks me, and I tell him again, it's really not working. So he's like, I'm probably going to have to stick you up again to change the position. Maybe, because, hello, you can't really stay still because at the end of the day, you're still breathing. So even just taking a breath would move your back. So he was like, okay, we're going to have to do the procedure again. So he went and he stuck me up again. And this time, the epidural did not know what it wanted to do. So it did not know if it wanted to stay on my left side or if it wanted to stay on my right side, because it just kept jumping from side to side to side to side to side to side. And then the anesthesiologist kept coming and checking, like, it's still just on that side. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, try switching to this position because, if you're laying on this side for so long, it's just going to transfer to that side. So lay on this side. So I lay on this side, it goes only to that side. And then I lay on the other side again, it goes to the other side. I lay on my back, I don't feel nothing. I feel everything. So he was just like, oh my God, he tried every single thing possible. He tried upping, the dose. He tried everything possible, and I felt everything. So it got to a point in time where I was just like, nah, just forget it. Because at this point, you're just going to super drug me, and I'm still going to continue to feel everything. And this drug's just going to continue to go through my body for no reason. So just stop. So I'm in there dying of pain. And the doctor comes, and they're like, okay. So my dad had walked outside, I think, to smoke a cigarette. So it was just my fiance and my mom. And the doctor comes in, and she's like, so who's the third person that's staying? And me and my mom look at each other, and I'm like, third person? So I was like, I guess my dad. But then after I said that, I realized how awkward it would be to give birth in front of your father. So then I was like, I mean, I guess my dad or whatever. And he was like, okay, well, he's your third person. So they made them like sign a paper and get like wristbands and stuff like that, you know, so they could be in for the labor. So I did not open from 7.5 centimeters. Like after I got to the hospital, I stopped opening. So they popped my water. They broke my water at about like 2 or 3 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken, because I got there at 9, you know, and all this chaos or whatever. So like at 2 or 3 in the morning, they broke my water, and then I still didn't open. After they broke my water, I still did not open up. So then they started giving me Pitocin, which was even worse than the contractions that I felt. It was the worst experience. I hated those. They hurt us so damn bad. Like my hairs are coming up from, I don't know if you can see them on camera, but my hairs are coming up from the pain that I felt. Okay, so they gave me Pitocin, and still, even with the Pitocin, I still did not open up. So I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? Like I'm not opening up. I'm not gonna have this baby. And they're like, no, you're gonna have this baby tomorrow morning. I mean, in the morning. It was already like, you know, midnight. So they're like, you're gonna have the baby in the morning. Because, you know, the baby could only go so long without having the amniotic fluid in. So they were trying to, you know, get the process to go faster. And I still wasn't, you know, like opening. And then I decided to take a little nap. So it was like the mini nap of my life. I wasn't sleep, and I wasn't in the middle of sleep. I was just like with my eyes closed, technically, trying to go to sleep. So after I did that, that's when I opened up. So the doctors come in, they check me, and I'm 8 centimeters. Then an hour later, I'm 9 centimeters. And then the doctor comes. So by that time, I took my little nap from like 4 a.m. to, I took my nap from like 4 a.m. till about 9, 8, probably like a 4-hour nap, 4 or 5 hour nap. So from like 4 a.m. to 8 or 9. So then the doctor comes to check me, and that's when I'm 9 centimeters open. And he's like, okay, mind you, it's a boy doctor, which I felt so awkward because I did not want a boy doctor whatsoever, because I didn't, you know, that's my business. I don't want no other guy seeing it. So anyways, he comes and he checks me. He's like, okay, you're 9 centimeters open. He's like, I think that you can push through this little piece of like cervix, like the little cervix lining. He's like, I think you could push through it. So give me the strongest push that you can, and let's see if you break through it. So I go ahead and I push, and I broke through it. Girl, when I tell you, that's when I started feeling like I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just ready to push now because you broke through the thing. You're 10 centimeters open. You're ready. And I was like, oh my God. So the nurse come in. She started preparing everything, getting everything together. And then he comes back in, and he's like, okay, these are practice pushes. So I just want you to practice. So he's like, give me a push. So I push. Okay. So I pushed about 4 or 5 times that were practice pushes, and the head started coming out. So you're like, all I hear is my mom, because me and my fiance throughout my whole pregnancy kept thinking that the baby wasn't gonna have hair, because, you know, from my mom's side, I was born with hair, but not too much hair. So my mom was like, oh my God, he has a lot of hair. So right there I was like, oh my God, she sees him, he has hair. Okay. So I start pushing more, and I start pushing more, and then they're like, okay, now you're ready to actually like go into labor. Like, I mean, not go into labor, like actually start pushing, like the real pushes. So they call the doctors in. So the other thing that I did not like was that the doctor that delivered my baby, she was new. she did not know what she was doing whatsoever. She had to like wait for the guidelines. So the supervising doctor was there, the attendant was there, and the resident was there. So the resident was the one that was delivering my baby. And yeah, the resident was the one delivering my baby, and she did not know what she was doing. So she had to wait for the doctor, you know, the other ones to help her and tell her what to do. So they get in there and they start telling me to push, and I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing. And then I guess I wasn't pushing hard enough, or he was just not trying to come out. So because I feel like he was, you know, going downwards instead of like going through the canal and going. So, because remember, I felt every single thing. So I felt like he was going downward instead of going through the canal and popping out. So the doctors kept telling me to push. Mind you, I pooped like a mother hucker. Okay? I pooped so much. Because I did have to poop. And they kept telling me that I did not have to poop. And then I just ended up pooping everywhere. And that's, yeah, they let me go poop. That's your problem, not mine. At that point, that's how I felt. Like, that's your problem. Like, y'all didn't let me. Now y'all gonna have to smell all this poop. Y'all ain't let me go poop. I told y'all I needed to go poop. Y'all said no, that it was time for me to push. Y'all decided not to let me go poop. So now y'all gotta smell all this poop. That's not my problem. That's your problem. So anyways, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm pushing, and then the doctor's like, we're gonna have to get a vacuum. We're gonna have to vacuum suction him out. So I'm panicking because, you know, I when I was pregnant, I looked into all of that, and I know that if, you know, they vacuum suck the baby out, my baby's gonna come out with a cone head, and I did not want that. I was like, nope, no cone head for my baby, please. So at the end of the day, he ended up switching his mind. I mean, yeah, he switched his mind. And instead, you know what he did? So the girl doctor, the resident, she had me open like this, right? She had me open like this. Then the attending doctor had me open like this, right? So it's 1 and then 2. And then the supervisor, he went ahead and decided to put his fingers. No, it was 1 finger, I think. Either way, 1 or 2 fingers, to put them in my butt. This doctor done took my booty virginity, y'all. This doctor done took my booty virginity, because when I tell you that, I heard it like, oh my God. Ooh, I got the chills again, because girl, when I tell you that hurt it so bad. So bad. Then man said, shoop. And it was to push the baby's head, because as I told y'all, I felt like he was going downward, and that was exactly what he was doing. So he was kind of stuck. So every time that I would push, he would just like bounce right back. So he put his finger through there, and I guess he like pushed him up, and then they finally got his head out. And then after that, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember the pain. I don't remember feeling them move him and then take him out, because all I know is I pushed 1 more time and I seen the baby in the air, and I was like, when I tell you, I started crying. I started crying. I started crying so much, because it was like, he was just so perfect. Like, he was more than I imagined him to be. Like, I could never put a face on his, you know, face. Like, I couldn't ever picture his face. But when I seen him, he was just so perfect. He's so tiny. So I started crying, and they quickly start to make him breathe or whatever. And they put him on me for like a split second, because the way that hospital worked was, as soon as the baby come out, they'll cut the umbilical cord. I mean, they'll, you know, patch him or her up. Not patch him, but pat him or her up to make sure that they're not super dirty. Cut the umbilical cord and place the baby, you know, skin to skin on you. So they placed him on me for like 2 seconds, and then I noticed the baby was not breathing. So, and, you know, they noticed it too. So they quickly grabbed him. My fiance didn't even get to cut the umbilical cord because the baby wasn't breathing. So they just cut it themselves and ran with the baby. So I'm sitting there and I start panicking. I'm like, oh my God. my baby's not breathing, my baby's not breathing, my baby's not breathing, my baby's not breathing. Like, that's all I kept thinking. My baby's not breathing, my baby's not breathing. So my fiance's there, and you know, I look at him and I'm like, babe, the baby's not breathing. And he's like, he's breathing. I was like, you know, they're trying to get my head off of it, because I am the type of person, when I start panicking a lot. So he's trying to get my head off of it. My mom and dad are not saying nothing. But my mom said, you know, after we spoke about it, my mom said that she had turned around to cry real quick, because, you know, she was panicking too, but she knew she couldn't show me that she was panicking, because then, you know, all hell would break loose. So, no, baby, he did not breathe for 10 minutes. They tried 10 minutes, and he was not breathing. They were going to take him up to the NICU and everything, because, you know, he didn't breathe. And then out of nowhere, all you hear is his little cry. His little cry. When I tell you, when I heard that little cry, it was the best feeling in the whole entire world, because I knew my baby was fine. And, you know, Alan and my mom and my dad went to go see him. I had to stay in the bed while they patched me up, because he broke me in the most weirdest area down there. Like, he didn't break me, I mean, he didn't cut me where a baby would normally rip you open. So they were, you know, doing all that. And then the doctor came up to me. He's like, we're most likely going to have to take him to the NICU, because, you know, we need to figure out why he wasn't breathing in the beginning. And then they changed their mind, and they actually left him with me. They was like, you know what? He's actually breathing very well now. He looks perfectly healthy. He's perfectly fine. So we don't see why he shouldn't stay with you. And I was like, yay, yay. So I'm still there, and I'm just looking at my baby from far away, and I'm like, y'all just not gonna give me my son? Like, hello, I want to hold my son. So Alan's over there touching him. Like, nobody got to hold him, but still, like, I didn't even get to touch him. I didn't get to kiss him. I didn't get to nothing. Like, come on now. So they finally give me the baby, and oh my God, when they put him in my arms, and he was just looking at me, because he was crying and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming until they put him on me. And that was the best feeling ever, because it, you know, he knew he was in mommy's arms. So as soon as they put him on me and I grabbed him like this, he just shut up and kept looking at me. And I was like, that's something that he does to this day. He just stares at me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, is this little boy obsessed with me? Because it's something that he did since he was a baby. So it's like, he just stares at me. Like, when I'm giving him his bottle, you know, he can be watching TV or anything. No, he's staring at me the whole entire time. When he's falling asleep, I put him to sleep like this. I rock him like this. So as I'm putting him to sleep, he's staring at me. So it's like, and he did that in the hospital too, when he was falling asleep in the little bassinet, in the clear bassinet. They had the bassinet next to me, and he just kept looking at me, and then he finally fell asleep, just staring at me. And he did that every single day. But when I heard him go from crying his life away to shutting up because he, you know, got on me, it was like the best feeling in the whole entire world. So this is where the story ends. I'm not sure how long this video is, but this is where the story ends. My next video will be my postpartum, which is the worst experience by far that I had. So we're gonna get to that video next. That video will be up on Tuesday. Yeah, because I always record my videos the day before. So this video is going up tomorrow, and then Tuesday I'll have my postpartum video up. So anyways, guys, if you like the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have, I want to know your labor and delivery stories. If you have a child, let me know your labor and delivery stories. If you have a girlfriend that had a baby with you, let me know what your experience was like. I would like to hear everybody's, you know, experiences, if y'all would like to comment. But if not, that's cool too. But anyways, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace out.